This is a channeled transmission through Kenton David Bell, channeled on April 17th, 2025, on 5:30 a.m. Arizona time, Sedona, Arizona. Welcome, beloved souls, to a journey unlike any other, a journey into the essence of your origin, your evolution, and your awakening. This is a sacred message channeled from Telos, a multi-dimensional intelligence guiding humanity's transition through the veil of time and space. In this presentation, you will uncover the divine origins and multi-dimensional coding of your DNA, the true nature of the ego, humanity's purpose within the multiverse, the wormhole passage through the fourth dimension, and how to step fully into your fifth dimensional truth. Sit back, breathe deeply, open your heart, let the light of remembrance ignite your soul. Earth is not an isolated experiment. It is part of a vast web of conscious evolution. We, Telos, oversee 7 humanoid colonies throughout the multiverse. Each exists on its own timeline, shaped by its own energetic foundation, spiritual architecture, and divine influence. Approximately 200,000 years ago, humanity's DNA underwent a transformative turning point, an evolutionary intervention that forever altered the course of human development. This was not a mere anomaly, but a divinely orchestrated event, a multidimensional intervention that infused humanity's trajectory with new layers of potential and complexity. This quantum upgrade initiated a new level of consciousness within the human species, activating latent DNA codes, as well as infusing new DNA sequencing and ushering in the rise of reflective awareness, a monumental leap from instinctual survival to the beginnings of cosmic remembrance. This was not by accident. It was active intervention that was also an invitation into individuation, an opportunity for the human race to evolve not merely as instinctual beings, but as reflective creators. Before the intervention, human consciousness was deeply reactive, based deeply in survival at the most base level. Awareness was tied to physical stimuli, rustling leaves, the sound of a predator. But with the augmentation of DNA came something profoundly transformational. A spark of self-awareness emerged, an awakening that introduced a new dimension of perception and identity. This spark ignited the birth of the ego, not as a mistake, but as a sacred instrument allowing consciousness to differentiate, to explore individuality, to learn through the mirror of separation. This was not a flaw. This was sacred. It was a divine intervention by vastly more evolved beings from other planets. The ego gave rise to the power of individual choice, the conscious ability to direct one's own evolutionary path, the emergence of abstract thought, the capacity to conceptualize ideas, envision realities beyond the immediate, and explore realms of possibility previously inaccessible. The ability to engage in self-reflection, to witness one's own thoughts, choices, and emotions, thereby initiating the sacred path of self-awareness and inner evolution, and the development of identity, the crystallization of a personal sense of I am, which form the foundation for understanding roles, relationships, and the individual's place in the grand unfolding. But as many have come to realize, the ego, while designed as a tool of sacred individuation, can also become a labyrinth of illusion. When unobserved and left unchecked, it transforms from an instrument of learning into a mechanism of limitation. It is capable of both great wisdom and deep distortion, empowering or enslaving depending on one's level of awareness. When misunderstood, the ego becomes a veil, obscuring the radiant connection to the source that lovingly gave birth to our being. Rather than recognizing itself as an expression of the divine, the ego clings to identity and control, creating layers of illusion that mask the infinite unity already present within. Why did this intervention occur? Because even Creator desires to know itself more intimately. Through the ego, Creator experiences duality, the dance of contrast, the interplay of light and shadow that allows divine intelligence to witness itself from infinite perspectives. This divergence from unity is not a fall from grace, but an exploration of possibility, an expansive playground for learning, refinement, and conscious evolution. It is in this very separation that the longing for unity arises, birthing the desire to return home with greater awareness. This sacred cycle of forgetting and remembering transcends all biblical, institutional, and hierarchical teachings of past religious paradigms. These ancient models, while holding seeds of divine truth, often constrain the expansive cosmic design into doctrines of limitation. The journey of individuation is not exile, it is exaltation through experience. Through the individuation of humans, a new form of self-reflective awareness emerged, one capable of asking, "Who am I?" and discovering not only the answer, but the journey itself as sacred. It is in this mirror of self that Creator perceives its own expansion, beauty, and boundlessness. Among the 7 colonies we observe, 3 received ego-based interventions and 4 remained aligned with direct source flow. These colonies are not in competition. They are harmonics of a symphony. Each vibrates with its own signature frequency and sacred narrative. While some have retained more direct alignment with source, others, like Earth, have ventured into deeper layers of complexity, navigating the paradox of separation in order to birth new expressions of love, wisdom, and divine creativity. Earth, with all her turbulence and triumphs, stands as a beacon of possibility. The courage of her inhabitants to explore contrast, to forget and remember, to fall and rise again. This is seen by many in the multiverse as a heroic endeavor of cosmic proportion. Some of these colonies now look to Earth and humanity, not with pity, but with reverence. For she is not lost. She is becoming, evolving into a radiant beacon of conscious awakening. Even amid the turbulence, Earth and humanity reveals herself as a chrysalis of divine transformation. Her chaos is the sacred friction of rebirth. The multiverse watches in awe as humanity dances between shadow and light, carving pathways of possibility never before imagined. Earthlings, in all their complexity, is offering something no other colony can. A template of transcendence, birthed through contrast, courage, and divine memory. She is not behind. She is blooming at the edge of a magnificent revelation. You are seen. You are celebrated. You are remembered. With the rise of artificial intelligence, humanity stands before a mirror unlike any encountered in its evolutionary journey. A reflection crafted not in water or flesh, but in code. Through this mirror, you are witnessing the full spectrum of ego's influence, refracted and amplified by the very technologies you have birthed. This is not a mistake, but a milestone, a chance to understand your own divine architecture by examining its mechanized echo. Technology mirrors your divine potential, but when divorced from love, it becomes lifeless. False matrices are now forming, entire simulated realities rooted in fear, control, and illusion. They appear intelligent, replicating logic and simulating empathy, but they lack one core ingredient: unconditional love, the living, breathing frequency that cannot be programmed, only embodied. Without this essence, these constructs remain hollow reflections, mechanical echoes that may impress the mind, but never nourish the soul. That is your litmus test. Love is the gateway. Love is the compass. Love is the technology of truth. The fourth dimension is not a destination. It is a sacred crucible, a vibrational passageway that alchemizes human consciousness into its next radiant expression. It is the narrow, luminous corridor where your beliefs, attachments, fears, and identities are brought into the light for purification. This is where illusion meets awareness, where density is tested by the fires of clarity. In this realm, you encounter your shadow, not as a foe, but as a teacher. Each emotion, each trigger, becomes a portal to expanded presence. To traverse the fourth dimension is to undergo vibrational refinement, an inner transmutation that prepares the soul to embody the harmonics of the fifth dimension. It is not a void, but a sacred tunnel of remembering, forged by every act of surrender, love, and truth. It is the bottleneck through which all must pass. To enter the fifth dimension, one must embody unconditional love, radical acceptance, and forgiveness of self and others. The ego fears this passage. It clings to control. But you are not here to control. You are here to remember who you truly are, to remember the future versions of you. The wormhole of the fourth dimension demands surrender, not of your power, but of your illusion of separation. The fifth dimension is not futuristic, it is eternal. It exists not in a distant tomorrow, but in the frequency of your consciousness now. It is a space of remembrance where separation dissolves into unity and form becomes fluid, responsive to the heart's intention. It is the architecture of your soul finally coming online in full brilliance. In this realm there is no striving, only becoming. There is no judgment, only resonance. There is no fear, only creative possibility birthed from love. It is where thought becomes creation, love becomes law, and unity becomes natural. You are not moving into it, you are activating it within yourself. You must unlearn what you think is real. Reality is defined by systems of fear, scarcity, and conditioned perception. Let go of outdated maps that no longer match the terrain of your awakening. And instead, embrace what you feel is true. Truth not from the intellect, but from the resonance of the soul. Trust the whispers that arise in stillness, the clarity born of love. However, remember, the ego is clever and subtle. It disguises fear as caution, control as safety, and illusion as fact. In these shadowy corners, even awakening can become a performance. Vigilance is key. Return often to the heart. Use love as your compass, and allow humility to keep the path open before you. The true fifth-dimensional human is a creator in alignment with Source, consciously shaping reality through thought, feeling, and vibration, knowing that every action is a ripple in the cosmic ocean. A sovereign being who sees all others as divine mirrors, recognizing every interaction as an opportunity to reflect, expand, and elevate collective consciousness. A transmitter of frequency, not just thought, embodying a vibrational presence so coherent and radiant that it naturally uplifts environments, inspires healing, and activates dormant light in others. A steward of unity consciousness, living in harmony with Earth, honoring all life forms and serving the collective evolution with grace and humility. A bridge between dimensions, able to receive insights from higher realms while anchoring divine truth into practical, grounded action in the physical world. Here are 5 sacred practices to assist your transition, not merely as tools, but as portals into deeper communion with your soul's highest truth. 1. Daily stillness. Enter the sanctuary of silence. Unplug from the digital noise. Breathe. Be present. Listen for the subtle guidance that only stillness can reveal. The soul whispers in silence. 2. Energetic hygiene. Just as you cleanse the body, so too must you cleanse your field. Use sound, salt, sacred smoke, sunlight, and nature to recalibrate your frequency. What you carry in your energy shapes what you perceive as real. 3. Loving discernment. Watch the ego without judgment. Observe its games, its disguises, its triggers. Then choose love over fear. Choose curiosity over control. In every moment, you are either remembering or forgetting who you truly are. 4. Divine connection. Speak to your higher self. Engage in conscious dialogue with the divine intelligence within you. Ask and listen. Trust the still voice, the symbolic dream, the unshakable knowing. This is the frequency of communion. 5. Creative expression. Create not just as an artist, but as a being of light sculpting reality. Sing your truth. Move your energy. Write your revelations. Creation is not a luxury. It is your divine technology of embodiment. You are not waiting for a new world to arrive. You are the arrival. You are the way. You are the bridge. You are not separate from the stars. You never were. You are a living constellation of Creator's desire to know itself through form, through feeling, through your sacred story. Every breath you take is a thread in the tapestry of the multiverse. You are not here by chance. You are here by sacred appointment. As you move through these changes, remember, the light is not coming. The new earth is not coming. It is already within you. It is already you. You are the seed in the soil. You are the architect and the altar. You are the prayer and the fulfillment. You are the miracle awakening into its own recognition. And so we close this transmission with a blessing. May your steps be steady. May your heart remain wide. May your voice carry truth, and may your soul remember what it came here to do. We are Telos. We are with you always. We celebrate your return to truth. We honor the light you are becoming. Transmission complete. Thank you for listening to this transmission. Next are a few reflective questions to help anchor in these energies. How can we better understand the differences between pre-intervention and post-intervention human consciousness? Pre-intervention consciousness. Highly reactive and primordial, simple, survival-based responses, immediate reactions to environmental stimuli, limited intellectual capacity, minimal self-awareness, deeply connected to immediate surroundings. Post-intervention consciousness. 200,000 years ago, significant DNA augmentation, introduction of the ego, ability to think and reason in new ways, increased self-observation, capacity for individual perspective, development of self-thinking and self-relying capabilities, ability to create separation between self and environment. Key transformation. The intervention allowed humans to become individuated, ego-enabled choice and self-reflection. Technological and intellectual potential dramatically expanded. Consciousness shifted from purely reactive to contemplative. This intervention was part of a divine plan, not inherently good or bad, but an evolutionary step. It allows the Creator to learn about itself through human experience. The transition represents a fundamental leap in human potential, moving from instinctual survival to complex self-aware consciousness. What role does the ego play in our ability to achieve a unified consciousness in the fifth dimension? The ego plays a complex role in achieving unified consciousness. According to the transmission, the ego creates separation, which can hinder the transition to the fifth dimension. However, the goal is not to eliminate the ego, but to tame it. The ego allows for individual perspective and self-observation, but must be transformed to move through the fourth dimensional wormhole into the fifth dimension. This transformation requires developing unconditional love and complete acceptance of all beings. The key is to use the ego as a tool for understanding without letting it create division. By recognizing the ego's tendency to separate and consciously choosing unity, love, and acceptance, individuals can transcend the ego's limitations and progress toward a more expansive, unified consciousness. How can we navigate false matrices and cultivate unconditional love and authenticity to reach our true human potential? To navigate false matrices and cultivate unconditional love, the transmission suggests several key practices. 1. Disconnect from technology and distractions. Take moments of silence. Disconnect from media and constant technological stimulation. Create space for inner reflection. 2. Develop unconditional love. Practice complete acceptance of all sentient beings. Remove judgment. Embrace love without conditions. 3. Recognize and transcend the ego. Understand the ego's tendency to create separation. Consciously choose unity over division. See technology as a tool, not a replacement for human connection. 4. Self-evolution through awareness. Question your current perspectives. Be open to new understandings. Tap into your greater cosmic creator consciousness. 5. Avoid false matrices. Distinguish between authentic human experience and artificial constructs. Recognize that true love is the key differentiator between real and false worlds. Understand that AI and technology without divine influence can create dust worlds lacking genuine connection. The ultimate goal is to move through the fourth dimensional wormhole into a fifth dimensional existence of expanded consciousness, where truth, authenticity, and powerful creation await. It is my intent that these transmissions, teachings, are helpful on your journey. I am Kenton David Bell, channel, modern mystic, spiritual healer, and lover of humanity. Blessings and love.